The power went out in Lagos at 3:33 a.m. Not across the city, only in the Obalindi block, only on devices that had not been used in over 7 days. That was the first strange thing. The second was that Amara Iwi's phone, a dusty burner she hadn't touched since 2019, lit up on its own, though there was no electricity, no SIM card, and no charger connected. She was already awake when it happened. Night sweats. Always at 3:30. Ever since the boat incident. Ever since Ifani vanished. She sat on the floor of her one-bedroom apartment, cross-legged, hunched over a tangle of circuit boards. Code on her laptop blinked, unsaved. She wasn't working. Just trying to escape her head. That's when the burner phone came alive. Bzzzzzt. One sharp vibration. Then silence. She turned slowly. Its cracked screen glowed dim white. A notification slid across. One new message from Third Signal. Her breath caught. She hadn't seen that name in years. She reached for the phone with shaking fingers. The screen flickered twice before settling. No network bars. No timestamp. Just the message. The dead remember you. Then it powered off. She froze, pulse rising. Had to be a prank. Someone hacking low-bandwidth frequencies. There were ways. She'd done worse herself in college. But this phone wasn't connected to anything, and it hadn't held charge in years. Amara got up, grabbed a battery tester and clipped it to the circuit. Dead. 0 volts. Not even enough for standby mode. And yet, the message was real. She stared at the screen in silence. Then, as if waking from sleep, she moved fast, disconnected the backup router, shut down her Wi-Fi sniffers and turned on a frequency recorder. Nothing. Until 3:35 a.m. Bzzzt. The burner buzzed again. The screen glowed, no unlock pattern. Just another message. He's still in the code. And beneath it, Ifani. Amara's throat clenched. She hadn't said his name aloud in years. Not since the university sent her the report. Accidental drowning. No remains recovered. The project he was working on, Project 9 Waves, was shut down. The professors never responded again. The files were sealed. Her parents buried an empty coffin. She buried the password to his email in her head. And moved on. Sort of. At 4:01 a.m. she called Nedu, an old hacker friend now working security at a crypto bank. Nedu groggy. Amara. It's 4. What did you break this time? Amara. Someone accessed a dead phone. I need signal mapping on non-networked bands. An idiot. Satellite? Radio? Amara. Ghost. I'm serious. An idiot. Silence. You said ghost? Amara. It said Ifani's name. That did it? An idiot. I'll run a grid scan. But if this is one of your trauma spirals. Amara. Just do it. She hung up. Her hands were shaking again. She didn't believe in spirits. But she knew signals. And this one wasn't normal. At dawn, the city roared to life like nothing happened. Generators hummed. Car horns blasted. The white noise of Lagos returned. But Amara sat quietly by the window watching her phone. Nothing. No new messages. No buzz. Until the light hit just right, and she noticed the reflection in the burner screen. Not her face. A boy. Standing behind her. Blurred. Familiar. She spun around. No one. She looked again. The phone was off. But burned faintly into the dark LCD glass was a line of code. Ifani.ping.return equals true. Her hands dropped. Her eyes welled. She didn't remember saving that script. But she knew what it meant. Someone, or something, was trying to reach back through the wires. And it had started at 3:33. By morning, Amara had already tried 10 logical explanations. Maybe the phone still held a ghost charge. Maybe someone planted malware in her old SIM cards and piggybacked on dormant Bluetooth connections. Maybe she was hallucinating. But nothing explained the name, Ifani. And nothing explained the contact ID that now sat in her burner phone like a curse. Third Signal. She hadn't created that name. She opened the Contacts app. No number. No email. No SIM. Just one entry. Name Third Signal. Last message, the dead remember you. She tried deleting the contact. Nothing happened. She tried powering off the device. It stayed on. Even pulling the battery did nothing. It remained lit until she smashed it flat with a hammer, breathing hard, heart thudding in her ears. But even then she didn't throw it away. She placed it in a lead-lined drawer, sealed it, and turned her mind to the signal. She spent most of the morning in her home office, a cluttered wall of monitors, cables, and blinking drives. Her sanctuary. Her shield. On her main screen, she opened a signal map and keyed in custom parameters. Low-frequency pings under 3 GHz, no SIM. If the contact was riding off-grid transmissions, she'd need to track it manually, frequency hunting. It took 3 hours before she found something odd. A burst packet, undirected, repeating every 3 minutes 33 seconds. Buried beneath encrypted military-grade frequencies. It carried one thing, a numeric string. 01.00.0003.171.3.1. She stared. Ran it through conversions. ASCII hex grid locator. One result returned a hit. 3 degree 2543.2 inch and 6 degree 2701.1 e. A random rooftop in Ikoi. By noon she was there, standing across from a derelict 4-story building with its windows boarded and satellite dishes rusting like abandoned teeth. The air smelled like burnt wiring and damp concrete. She slipped through the side fence. Climbed the stairs. Reached the roof. Silence. Then her main phone, the one she hadn't used since leaving the apartment, buzzed. A known caller. She froze. The screen flashed. Third signal is near. She turned slowly, eyes scanning old antenna rigs and bird-choked wires. Then she saw it. A camera. Hidden beneath rusted mesh. Pointed directly at her. A red light blinked. Suddenly her phone rang again. Same number. Same flashing screen. She answered. Amara. Hello. Static. Then, a voice. Soft. Gurgled. Mel. Unmistakable. Voice. Ifani? Why didn't you answer that night? Her blood froze. Amara. Who is this? Voice. The signal woke me. But you let it sleep again. Amara. Is this a joke? Voice. They're still listening. You opened it. Click. Silence. She stood there, wind in her ears, heart pounding. No one knew what Ifani said the night before he vanished. His final voicemail was corrupted, unreadable. Until now. Because those were the same words he left in the error log. You opened it. Back home she tore through her backup drives. Most were sealed, unindexed. One had a folder she didn't remember. Project 9 Waves Echo Layer Ping Data.wave. She played the audio. At first just static. Then whispering. Dozens of voices. Some speaking English. Others code. A low-frequency hum beneath it all, like a distant storm crackling between dimensions. The last second was clear. Signal accepted. Host found. She replayed it. Again. Again. Was she the host? Or had the signal been searching all this time, for her? She opened her terminal. Started a reverse trace. But just as she did, her laptop screen blinked. Then every screen in her house flickered. The TV. The microwave. The fan. All displayed the same message. Third signal will arrive at 3:33 a.m. She slammed the laptop shut. Her hands trembled. She called Nedo again. Amara. It's a person. It's talking to me. Nedo. What? Oh, Amara. The signal. It's alive. Nedo. Amara, signals don't think. Amara. This one remembers. This one knows my name. She hung up. Then walked to the drawer. Opened the lid. The burner phone she'd smashed hours ago was whole. Its screen lit up. Another message. The message burned into the screen. Would you like to bring him back? Amara stood motionless, staring at the fully intact burner phone, the same one she'd crushed with her own hands. There were no cracks now. No dented casing. The battery, previously non-functional, hummed with impossible energy. She didn't touch it. She backed away. The words remained on the screen like a dare. Like a pact waiting to be sealed. 11:22 p.m. She hadn't eaten. Barely breathed. The city outside buzzed with the usual chaos of Lagos nightlife. Vendors shouting, cars honking, music bouncing off concrete. But in her flat, there was nothing. Only the pulsing glow of the dead phone and the hum of electricity that now felt too loud. Amara opened her encrypted terminal and began tracing data anomalies over the last 72 hours. She logged into old research forums, places she and Ifani used to frequent when he was alive. Boards where hackers, engineers, and amateur physicists shared conspiracy theories and code snippets. One user had posted something odd 5 days ago. Username, Signal 3.33. Subject, heard voices in the static. Why is my microwave talking? Reply, you've been pinged. Don't answer. Timestamp 3:33 a.m. That username had only one post. The account had been deleted. Midnight. Amara dimmed the lights and laid the burner phone on the table like a relic. Then she did something stupid. She answered. She pressed yes. The screen went black. then white. A soft tone filled the room. Not a ringtone. Not a vibration. It was a hum. Human almost. Like a boy humming a lullaby. Then, from the speakers of her own laptop, which she hadn't turned on, came the voice. Faint. Warped. But familiar. Afani recorded. You don't have much time. They're using my code now. That's how they listen. Amara. Afani? Is it really you? Static. Afani. You didn't kill the signal. You rerouted it. You saved it. You saved me. Her throat tightened. Tears welled in her eyes. Amara. I thought you drowned. Afani. I went in. But I didn't come out. Not all the way. The voice distorted, like someone dragging data through a tunnel underwater. Afani. I mapped the frequency wrong. It doesn't just carry sound. It opens things. Amara. What things? Silence. Then, another voice layered beneath Afani's. Lower. Ancient. Unknown voice. Third signal has accepted you. Transmission will complete at 3:33. She yanked the laptop shut. Pulled the plug. Cut the power. Everything went dark. Even the air felt wrong. Too still. As if time had paused. She backed toward the window and opened it for air. The city lights twinkled below, normal and loud and real. But inside her room, her skin crawled with the static of something that wasn't just digital. It was sentient. 2:21 a.m. She packed a bag, hard drives, battery backups, 2 burner phones, a pistol she hadn't touched since her last job in cybersecurity enforcement. She needed answers. Fast. There was only one place left to go, the old Nine Waves lab, now sealed, condemned, forgotten by everyone except her. She drove through empty streets. Past neon signs, shuttered vendors, and a bridge where shadows hung heavy. 2:54 a.m., Nine Waves facility. It was still there. Fenced. Wide. A cement grave for a dream. She cut the chain. Her flashlight flickered as she stepped inside. The building smelled of mildew, dust, and something burnt. She passed labs covered in shattered glass. Charts of frequencies lining the walls. A broken console with her brother's initials still scratched into the steel. Then she found it. Room 9E. The door opened on its own. Inside, mirrors. Walls lined with dead monitors. A single red phone, old and dusty, sat on a pedestal. Rang. 3:33 a.m. The phone on the pedestal rang, sharp and piercing in the stale silence of room 9E. 3:33 a.m. Amara stared at it, frozen. The red rotary handset looked like something from a 1960s war bunker. Dusty, untouched, yet freshly alive. The ringing stopped. Then, without anyone touching it, the receiver lifted and hung in the air midair like it was suspended by a wire that didn't exist. A voice came through. Not her brother's. This one was deeper, slower. A known voice. The pulse begins now. The entire room vibrated. Machines flickered on for the first time in years. Static bled out of the walls. The broken screens began flashing images, brief, chaotic. A bridge collapsing. A crowded Lego street fading into ash. A boy, her brother, submerged in black water, eyes open. Amara tried to scream, but no sound came. Her legs gave out and she hit the floor. The red phone dropped back onto the pedestal. Dead again. But now her own phone vibrated. New message from, third signal. The city will break at 3:33. Unless you rewrite the code. Below that, a string of binary. She couldn't breathe. Back at her flat, Amara plugged the string into her compiler. The binary translated to, if, transmission equals blocked, reset origin, host equals Amara _. They wanted her to become the source. To host the signal fully. She checked her laptop camera. It was on. But she hadn't enabled it. The screen blinked once and then a second string appeared, faster this time. They're not dead. Just stored. Chapter 5. The Echo Room. By the next night, Lagos began to glitch. Phones rang once at 3:33 a.m. then died. CCTV cameras captured people standing perfectly still for several seconds, blinking in unison, then resuming normal movement. The city said it was a network hack. Telecom companies issued vague apologies. But Amara knew better. She followed the second coordinate embedded in the signal string, to a rusted telecom bunker beneath Yaba. The keypad was fused shut, but the moment she stepped forward, the door unlocked itself. Inside was a room lined wall to wall with phones, ancient Nokias, burners, cordless landlines. Every one had a red blinking light. She recognized one immediately. Her brother's. A message played aloud. Afani recorded. The signal doesn't destroy. Remembers? It saves. But the more it stores, the more it becomes. She moved to the center of the room. The lights dimmed. The walls vibrated. Then she heard it. Her own voice, playing back from 300 phones at once. Would you like to bring him back? She covered her ears. The phones screamed in unison, a digital howl. Then silence. One phone blinked green. She picked it up. Reboot required. One life in. One life out. Betrayed. Amara went home with one thought circling her mind. Could she bring Ifani back? And if so, what would come back with him? She found the old code he'd written, from Project 9 Waves. It wasn't just a network. It was an architectural memory grid, designed to transmit not just data but consciousness. A living backup. Amara could finish it. She had the last missing line of code. But the final instruction was irreversible. She'd have to host it. Entirely. Nedu called her that night. Nedu, you need to get out of that apartment. Something's wrong with the tower feed. We traced a burst that came from your address. It wasn't just code. Amara. Then what? Nedu. It was language. Voice. Signal with identity. She said nothing. He lowered his voice. Nedu. The signal's not bouncing around anymore. It's settling. Amara, it's choosing you. She pressed enter. The code compiled. Her screen went black. Then a flicker. Ifani appeared, not in a video. What? On her screen. Ifani. It's not too late. Her heartbeat pounded. Amara. What are you? Ifani. A version. What you saved. What they erased. But I can't stay unless something else goes. She understood. It would cost her. Lagos went dark. Phones across the city buzzed, all at once. The same message appeared everywhere. The signal has chosen. In her apartment, Amara stood perfectly still. Her reflection blinked before she did. The lights strobed. The air pulsed. Then everything stopped. No sound. No time. 6 hours later. News reports flooded the airwaves. Citywide EMP blackout still unexplained. Hundreds report strange voicemail in unknown language. One woman found unconscious, now missing. They said Amara vanished from her flat, leaving behind only one item. A burner phone. Still glowing. Still receiving messages. On its cracked screen. New host accepted. Transmission ongoing.